Thank you for staying with us. It is still the conversation here on Lagos Television. And the topic before us today is one that concerns every Lagos resident. Cost of living in Lagos. This is one topic that affects everybody. It touches everybody for body. If I might put it that way. Joining us on the conversation this morning to do justice to this discourse, we are joined by Dan Anazia. He is a journalist. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I had a long intro, but I didn't think I should go into my intro.
No, we're not speaking English.
We are not speaking English.
We are going to speak on hard truths now.
Yeah.
Because it's not about English, because everybody is pinching, he's touching everybody.
For you, how would you describe the current cost of living in Lagos?
It is truth cutting. Let me use that word. Just truth cutting. When I say truth cutting, there are a lot of factors or indices has to come to play here. Now, for instance, the cost of accommodation in Lagos is very, 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 very high. Just this morning I was discussing with my wife, and he said, permit me to use this. He said, I beg if you reach there, tell them so that if they go here. The cost of a 2-bedroom flat, I live in a condo. Before now, it was 400.
2-bedroom?
2-bedroom flat. Now it has been jacked up to 800, 850 per annum. Then with the total package and all of that, it may be around 950, and it's still going up. Then it
that's
depends.
Even cheap.
Depend. Okay.
To some areas.
So that's, I'm just telling you. When I mean the condo, you know, there are still some word like what this Gen Z call the lungu areas. You understand? If you go into inside, there are places you get maybe 600 and all of that. But if it rains, you just be saying God. So you now look at the prices of food, but you know, give it to Lagos. With the markets in Lagos, my 12, the Agbado, what is it called in a Blackbar area, all those hubs. Okay. So as a result of that concentration there, so the prices, you know, it's just slightly high, but compared to before now, when a tuber of yam goes for as much as 10,000, a tuber of yam, the bigger one, you can get it for between 5,000 naira and all of that. But some people will still tell you that it's still expensive. Now you now come to education. It's appalling. You can see that gesture from my face. It's appalling, because the biggest investment in Lagos is private schools, public schools, and these schools charge enormous. So how many people get into public school, and what is the state of these public schools? I must commend government, but they are not doing enough. They need to do more. Because if you have a policy to ensure that every child goes to school, it means you must put infrastructures that will make them to compete favorably with their competitors in this private school. We have instance where state government built some of these facilities, and a lot of them began to withdraw their children away from private school and take them to public school because the facilities are there. So all of this put together will tell you, but transportation is another issue. Now, a Marwa, a keke driver or rider will tell you that in a day they pay as much as close to 10,000 naira. Just this money will. And there was a day yesterday I commuted. I had to leave the car and I commuted with Marwa. For each bus stop, the guy was paying 200 naira from Ikotun down to Kenu in Okafa. And this has about close to 15 bus stops. So if he pays this go and come, how much is that person making? So all of this put together make the cost of living in Lagos very, very truth cutting for people.
Okay, I like the fact that, you know, cost of living, when we're talking about cost of living, you know, we begin to ask, you know, what exactly are we measuring? And he has talked about food, he has talked about transportation, he has also talked about, you know, housing. And I want to ask, you know, more questions about our housing. Many Lagosians have been crying out that, look, the house rents, you know, have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
That, you know, they've even called on the Lagos state government to see what they can do for them because of all this Shylock, so called Shylock landlords and agents. So, is this issue really a landlord issue or the economic situation of the country?
Well, I don't think it's an economic situation, because you see somebody who built his or her house back in 1980, for instance. Now, that house, the moment they hear that, the prices of things are going up, they will tell you leave. And you know, in Lagos today, landlord will tell you, leave my house, I want to renovate. And then the next thing is, they will get one lawyer, they serve you notice to quit, and the ploy of that notice is for you to leave, so that they will do maybe one or two touch, and then the next thing they jack it up. So, but when you look at that particular house, you packed in, maybe they do patches and all of that, in few months, in the rainy days, you begin to see defects and all of that, leakage and all those things. But I paid 800 for this 2-bedroom now. Why am I getting? You now call maybe the lawyer. The lawyer will say, okay, we'll fix it. We'll fix it 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and then that rent will expire. But because you don't want your properties to get damaged, you now begin to find a way to fix all of this. It's a cost on you. You understand? So it is not an economic issue. And let me be frank with you here. It is we Nigerians that are the problem. Because if you bought a bag of cement at that time, maybe around that time that they are selling cement for 2005, equate it. What renovation are you doing? Are you removing the roof up to put a new roof?
Okay, I like the question you asked just now, because I'm not talking as or speaking in support of this landlord. You know, I'm just saying that, look, if they need to, even if the house was built in 1980 and they need to do some repairs in their house, it is the cost of today they will use them buying things to in renovating the house. But my real concern is what the government is doing concerning providing affordable housing for Lagosians. Because I'll go back to the time of Jakonde, you know, who provided low-cost housing, and these houses are still standing till today. And it was, you know, these houses that made many people landlords as of today. Do we have those type of housing structure that we had in 1980? Was it 82 or 84? I can't remember. In 1984. What role do you think the government can do in helping alleviate the issue of housing in Lagos?
Well, our government has a lot to do, because for every government that comes into power, that is one of the key democratic promise they give to the people. We ensure housing for all. Now, when you say housing for all, I like I said, I live in Igondo, and there are 2 major housing estates. You have one at the NYC, and there is one at Agric Road. Now, these 2 major housing estates can accommodate, but what is the affordability? That is the question we need to ask the government. Who are those who get these housing slots? We've had instances. I am a journalist. We've done series of stories where we see people, you went to make inquiries about this housing, and they will tell you it's not available. And who are those? You see somebody in the government circle, they have as much as 3 or 4 slots. So what do you do with it? What is the level of transparency in ensuring that people, if you say, as in for, I should be entitled, and then spread it for me so that I can pay.
So you can't blame the landlords then, because...
So obviously because government, if government is living to the expectation,
exactly, yeah.
You understand? These Shylock landlords will not be there. And that is why you see that today, government will come up with policies.
Well, what you have said is an allegation, anyway. But let's talk about the Lagos.
It's an allegation.
It's an allegation.
Yeah. Alleged.
Alleged. Yeah. The Lagos.
But it can still be verified.
Well, of course, anything can be verified. Let's still talk about because she asked the question, what government is doing, and I'd like us to talk about the Lagos State Tenancy and Recovery of Premises Bill 2025. It's still a bill not yet passed into law, but when you saw that, what came to your mind?
I was very, very elated with it because it puts both the tenant and the landlord into check. Everybody knows the boundary. You get me? So, and I think that bill will go a long way in ameliorating the fears of the tenant, and also weakening the powers or the Shylock nature of the landlords.
Okay.
You understand? That is where, immediately I saw it, I said, for once, this government, Lagos State government, thumbs up for them, because a lot of, and over the social media, every day you see people, and people are now beginning to also bring the other side of the narrative, that because a lot of tenants said, our landlord entered down, but meaning the landlord, they are in deep trouble this time. Now, people who understand the issue, they're also bringing the other aspect, where you as a tenant, if you're owing a landlord for a 6 months rent paying tenant, and you don't pay, you are owing. The landlord has 7 days notice to give to you. And once he issues at the expiration of that 7 days, you must leave. Whatever action taken against you in the court of law stands. So much as the tenants are rejoicing over the landlord government's policy towards the landlord, they should also be very mindful of the policy in their own direction. So that's also, it's a win-win.
I really
situation.
like that you balanced it now. So moving away from landlord, tenant, housing, let's come back again to the cost of living in Lagos. And we know our minimum wage. How much is our minimum wage again?
It varies across.
In Lagos State, it's
70,000
naira.
But when you look at it, how sustainable is this wage when we are looking at the current economic climate?
You know, sometimes when we look at this issue, I always tell people that, because, you know, we equate the naira with dollar. You understand? So what is the minimum wage in other countries?
Okay.
Looking at it side by side with the dollar. So 70,000 naira, change it to a dollar. I don't think it's up to even $50 for 3 months. And you are paying somebody, the person will pay transport.
Family of 4.
Then the person, maybe that is, if that is, the person is moderate. And some people tell you, along low shomo, that it is God that blesses. So now, where that person they earn 70,000 naira a month, and then they pay rent, and such people will live somewhere in downtown Lagos because they cannot afford the urban center. You understand? So now the children will go to, obviously the children cannot go to private school.
It's public school.
It is public school. Now the distance from where they live to the public school is over 2 kilometers. Now, when you look at a child of 6 years old walking 2 kilometers to go to school, it's absurd. So this is where government need to come in, that in these hamlets, government need to go into that place. And we cannot put the burdens on the state government or the federal government. We have local government. So what are the local government chairmen doing? I recently did something, and in that area, if you look today, permit me to go this direction. You understand? There are refuse everywhere. And I said, why? Even in front of the palace of the Opa or Nigondo, I took that shot and I put it up. And I said, is there no LG government in this place? That was my caption. And after some days, they cleared it. And I came back and I took the shot of it. I said, they've responded. That is what we call responsible citizenship, responsible governance. You understand? And somebody came back and said on the timeline and said, no, that there is still other places that they've not cleared. I said, okay, we are going to check it. So if all of us begin to do all of this, you understand? Let's put the local government chairman accountable. Let's hold them responsible. And Mr. President, with all due respect to him, I must commend him because he has said, look, hold these people, hold your governors, hold your local government accountable. They collect money from FAC. What do they do with it?
Yeah.
So these are the issues. So everybody will say Tinubu is the one destroying this country. But how? The man is trying to solve the problem of Nigeria, which is macro.
Which is macro.
But the issues within the local government,
between the
will
wards,
it still come down
within the ward,
will it still come down to do it? There is no road that links to my street. It's bad. It's terrible, in a bad state. So will I go and call him to come and fix it? No. There's a local government, there's a councillor. So this is where they need to sit up. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is doing all he can, but he needs to do more. He needs to call the local government chairman to accountability. The State House of Assembly, they need to also sit up. They need to also hold the local government chairman to accountability for the monies they collect. Okay,
Mr. Daniel, recently, I'm reading this from, what I got from the dailies. This was in November. November 2025, just last year. The federal government, recently scored itself excellent mark, following the positive statistics released, which shows the GDP is improving. But some experts say the economy looks healthier in charts than it feels in Nigerian households. So are we going to describe, these improving economy as, facing cost? So what we're facing now, is it cost push inflation or policy driven inflation? Because but from what we have been talking about, it looks like it is cost push. It is man-made inflation. Because when we hear that, okay, or when we get an announcement that petrol has increased, okay, automatically food products will increase. But when it comes down, when we hear that fuel has been reduced, we don't hear anything. We don't feel anything when it comes to food and products. And that is why, some experts are saying this economy thing looks healthier in charts, in paper. It's not reflected in household.
Yes, and I will say that it's a mixture of both cost push and policy driven.
And policy driven, okay.
Now, policy driven is in the sense that government come up with this policy direction.
Okay.
Implementation matters.
Is key.
It goes beyond you making a statement verbally and said we are doing this. Put your feet down. If you say the price of fuel is 735 naira, let it be across. But now some people will be selling 840. They will tell you that it is what we bought.
It's competition, no?
That's what I say. Because how? Because now these people, they go to buy from. Thank God for Dangote who came in.
For import, they do.
That is now refining in the country. If not, December would have been a very, very bad time for us. But you see that people celebrated Christmas and everybody was.
There were no queues.
There were no queues. For once we felt that Christmas.
We could drive in and out of fuel stations, smoothly.
So, and you also look at it. That's why I say that it's a mixture of both.
Both.
Now, people will tell you that it is what we bought. How much did you buy that fuel? When this issue of subsidy started, I've done a couple of stories around it. And I have friends in NNPC. At the point I called one of my friends, I said, look, he told me that, look, there's nothing. That was before President Bola Tinubu came. He said, look, if this Nigeria want to move forward, Nigeria want to grow, government need to remove subsidy. And I asked him, what do you mean? He said, look, people are feeding fat. So now President Tinubu came, take off the subsidy. And he said that it's going to be like a surgery, the pain of a surgery. But if we endure, and I told people for once I'm going to trust this man, and I did from that time till now. I'm trusting him. So let's endure the pain for once and see what is happening. And then look at where we are today. Before now, the price increased. And as of, I think 3 days ago, Dangote came up and said that the price of fuel is back again, it's down again. So reduced, all of this. But man-made is where people, like you said, that if this price go up and it comes down, can't we make a reversal? But people will allow it. That's why they say that in Nigeria, it's only in Nigeria that the force of gravity does not apply. Anything that goes up remains up there. You get me? So it does not. That's just the issue we are having in Nigeria. So policy-driven government need to put his feet down. And that is where I want Mr. President to stand firm.
Okay, let's bring this down to, let's bring it home. Talking about lifestyle adjustments. Just before we came back on air, we were talking here in the studio about, family life and how you have to cut costs and maybe change your diet because your pocket can't afford.
That is you. What are you going to tell your children to?
That's where I'm coming to. My children will tell you, no, I don't want to eat rice. I want plantain and egg. And so let's just talk about how families are coping with the way things are.
Okay. I have a 9-year-plus boy and 8-year-plus girl. And the girl will tell you, I don't want. And once she says you don't want, she doesn't want. And you look at, will you allow her to go hungry? Now, as a result of the strangulation of the economy, I've had to adjust myself to be able to stay afloat. And I ask myself of one time, what about families who cannot
who do not have
the means that I have, the opportunity that I have? I mean, sometimes I look at family, they will tell you, our children has not eaten since morning, and it's 6 p.m. Sometimes I just look and I sit back and I shake my head. So, yes, people have to adjust because of the economy is bleeding. So, in doing this, that's why I said that I'm calling out the government that policy matters. Put your feet down, ensure that this, and while some of these things are happening, I think that God has blessed this country. Create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Let there be foreign investment, foreign direct, let them come in so that we have enough factories that can produce some of the needs that we have. You understand? We have an abundant resources that are yet on tap. You understand? For instance, in Benue, they have enough orange, but can we convert it to juice? We import juice into this country. We import even to toothpick. But we have this. But thank God that currently some of these factories, there are a lot of startups that are coming up and businesses that are beginning to pick up. But government need to also support the MSMEs to grow. Because that way we can begin to do. And back to what you said earlier, that the issue of that people are only seeing the
only seen the figures, we've seen the chart,
paper, but they are not feeling it.
You can't feel it.
You know, the average Nigerian want to feel when you say Nigeria is good. You can't go and tell Mama in Itoluwo, Mama Lata, that this thing has good. You tell you, Benue song, keep quiet. This thing how? Look, I bought tomato for this amount and look at, and inside that they are all bad. How much am I making? So they want to see how this can translate to their own development, to their own good. It's at that time, once we get this, that we will say that Nigeria is good.
How do you think that this can actually happen, or this is just a dream we are all having?
Well, like I said, I'm one person that believes in this country, and I believe that the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu can do the needful. You understand? And he has to listen to the citizenry, because I've told people that it's one man I'm studying his style of politics and leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a party member. I don't, but I look at issues. So, if he says this is what we are going to do, I'm trusting him. If at the end of his 4-year term, we are not getting that relief of the pain of that surgery, like he said, then I think Nigeria will decide. 2027 is here.
Yes.
So that is just the way. So he needs to ensure that those pains ease off and Nigeria begin to see that dreamland that he promised us. That way, 2027 will be a shot for him.
Okay, interesting conversation we just had here. Cost of living in Lagos with Daniel Anazia, who is a journalist just like us. I just want to leave one word. A city cannot continue just to invite investment. It must protect its people first, so that, you know, these people coming, your people will not eat them up. Thank you very much, Daniel Anazia. We didn't have enough time to, you know, finish this conversation, but we hope to have you back here very soon.
Thank you. I would be glad to be here.
You're welcome. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, the conversation continues.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.